Hello friends, Jerkoffkins here, bringing you another Dota 2 video on behalf of Dota Alchemy, and in this video we're going to be covering how to play Nature's Prophet in 7.20D. So first and foremost, I want to warn you, if you like having friends, do not follow this guide. Just stop watching now because this is a really good way to lose friends. But if you're like Donnie and you don't have any friends, then this is the perfect guide for you because this is a great way to gain MMR at the expense of your opponents and your teammates' sanity. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, I want to briefly mention that this is a support 5-role Nature's Prophet guide, and you might be wondering, Jenkins, why would I play support? It's boring. It's not boring when you're playing Nature's Prophet. This hero, honestly, this is the best role for him in terms of exactly what he wants to do in the game, and it's the most MMR gaining role as well. So skill build wise, you want to start with Nature's Call for Harass, Teleportation level 2 so you can TP back to the fountain and then TP to lane, bring your carry some regen or wraith bands or whatever they need, Sprout level 3 for the setup, max out the Nature's Call, go for your ultimate at every point that you can because it's honestly an insane ability now that it has a 60-second cooldown and 18 max targets. It does like 7,000 damage across the map. It's nuts. Then max out your TP scroll so you can gank and split push a lot more quickly. And then at level 10, 30 damage, 25 movement speed just isn't really important on a hero that TPs everywhere. Level 15, 4 Treant summoned. I see people go for the 10 armor talent. I do think that's okay if you want to show up to fights a lot, but I personally think the best way to play this hero is as a complete rat, especially from the 5-role position. Level 20, you go for 25% cooldown reduction because 40 attack speed with the build that I think is good on this hero is not that great, and 25% cooldown reduction means reduction on your Wrath of Nature to 45 seconds, and then all of your other abilities including Teleport, which is going to let you be way more of an effective rat and also show up to fights. Level 25, I would advise going for the 2x Treant HP and damage talent. Remove teleportation cooldown is just not that necessary with the TP that you have, with Boots of Travel if you go for that, with the teleportation ability, and with having the cooldown reduction already. It's kind of redundant to go for the TP cooldown, and if you get the 2x Treant damage, honestly, you can just wipe the entire enemy team's base out if they're not careful in 1 second. So what you want to start out with is 1 Tango, pull 2 Tangos to your mid laner, 1 Blightstone, 2 wards, pull 1 ward to your off laner, pull 1 ward to your mid laner, and then you want to get the courier, of course. So that's going to leave you with 1 Tango and 1 Blightstone. So you might be thinking, where's the regen at? How do you regen in lane? You TP back to base. You'll be fine. Buy out all the wards as much as you can. Place them in really nice locations. We'll cover that in a little bit. First item, you want to go for Basilius because that lets you push towers super quickly. When you have Basilius plus Blightstone plus 2 levels in your Treants, you can get the safe lane tower. Vlad's first item, then Boots of Speed. You can flip that around if you feel like you really need the boots first. After that, I'll either go for Meteor Hammer or Spirit Vessel, depending on if I want to fight and gank or if I want to split push. Most of the time I want to split push, so I go for the Meteor Hammer. However, getting a Spirit Vessel is always going to be an effective item. It lets you show up to fights and be incredibly useful and do a lot of damage despite having a mostly split pushing build. Another great item is Solar Crest. You can go for an early Medallion if you want to build into that, and that's going to be very effective, especially if there's a lot of armor on the enemy team, if you want to take Roshan. Eventually build into Boots of Travel, then Scythe of Ice, and your typical kind of late game luxury items. Step 1 of laning on Nature's Prophet. Summon 2 Treants and send them to scout without moving your hero to the location that you're scouting with the Treants. Step 2, with your second wave of Treants, run to fight the bounty runes. Step 3, fight the bounty runes. This hero harasses extremely hard and you need to make sure to do it as early as possible. Step 4, abuse the fact that creeps don't aggro on the first wave and bully your opponents before the first waves even meet each other. Step 5, you basically just chase around the opponents with right clicks and Treants until they can't lane against you or the wave pushes. Step 6, TP back to base, bring items for your carry, and regen up. Step 7, at a certain point the lane will push into your opponents, and that's when you want to use the hard camp or the easy camp to pull the lane back so you can continue harassing them with Treants and possibly kill them. Step 8. Once you've given your carry a decent advantage, what you want to do is drop a safe lane ward, eventually maybe run to mid and place a mid ward, or TP to mid and place a mid ward. Also on their shrine is a pretty acceptable ward location. Then you want to just look to rotate to whatever the best possible tower to push is, and usually leave your carry solo. In this particular situation, the best tower to push was actually the lane with my carry in it, but in a lot of games, I might go to the off lane or the mid tower. It just depends on what looks good for pushing purposes. For a super quick guide to micro, set up a select hero hotkey to select your hero, set up a select all other units hotkey to select your treants, and then go to options and set unified unit orders with control to move everything at once. Remember when I said Nature's Prophet's best position is the 5 role? It's basically because of this and one other thing, which we'll get to later, but you can place really deep vision extremely easily with little to no risk, because you can just teleport in using your teleportation and use a TP scroll to get out. Unfortunately, in this situation, this guy started running at me, but what I like to do is usually place 2 wards at once, otherwise it takes you too long to place wards because of your TP cooldown. Unfortunately, a lot of the time your team is too dumb to play around vision, but that's okay because this hero is an amazing split pusher and you can use the wards for yourself to split push better. So the second reason that I think Nature's Prophet is an absolutely amazing 5-role hero is because you can basically suicide yourself to cut creep waves and to push towers, and if the enemy team TPs to try to defend from you pushing one of their towers, it's not going to be worth their time because they're TPing to stop a 5-position hero. So we're going to look at this on 16x and just kind of look at the movements I make. Essentially, I'm spending a lot of time looking at my team and with my camera and seeing where they are, and if they're taking a fight somewhere, I'll TP into the enemy base, place an incredibly deep ward, like literally in their base at some points, send treants into the towers, and just try to get as much chip damage as I can. And when I get a meteor hammer, it gets even better. You basically just TP, cut a wave, kill it here with meteor hammer, TP over here when they TP top to defend it from you, and then you meteor hammer this, or you use your Nature's Call on this. And what I do is I'll spam out the Wrath of Nature to just constantly keep the lanes shoved in. Sometimes I'll attempt to use the Wrath of Nature in team fights, but a lot of the time, if a couple of seconds pass where there's no fight happening after Wrath of Nature is off cooldown, I'll say, okay, screw it, I'm going to get some chip damage on the tower. So you can see this rotation happens, but I'm the lowest net worth hero that they're killing, so it's actually not even worth it. And this is why I said that you'll lose a lot of friends by playing Nature's Prophet in this way, because this sort of shit is incredibly annoying. You feel like you should be winning the game against Nature's, but when you rat this hard, like, you're not going to win the game, because eventually in this game, they lost this Rax, I ended up getting this tower, I ended up getting this tower, and then I ended up getting the melee Rax bot, and this range barracks. Like, as we were losing, this happened, and this is a very frequent occurrence on Nature's Prophet if you're constantly TPing into the side lanes, dropping treants, using your teleport scroll to get out. You can even TP in and just wait. Like, TP in and just wait and wait for the teleport cooldown to come off cooldown, and then send treants and then TP out. And eventually you'll just chip away enough at the towers, the enemy team will split up, and then the ideal scenario is your team takes a fight elsewhere, and then they win one fight, and because you constantly have the lane shoved in like this, you blow up the entire enemy base. And this is a very common occurrence on Nature's Prophet. Now the video's over.